What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another live show with the Adaptive Athlete Podcast. I'm Matt Hotho. I'm joining you from Tampa, Florida. I'm here. I'm ready to talk all things fundraising. Today, I've got a couple of friends joining me. I've got Shay from Unfiltered Clothing coming in a little bit, and then I've got Russell Allmandinger from the House of Champions Foundation, and I've got Candice Arnone, who's a member of the community and a grant writer in her full-time job. So a lot of people who know a lot of things about fundraising and how to help you all raise some funds for the adaptive games this year. So as we kick off, I wanted to show you guys a couple of things that you all said in my polls recently on Instagram. So I asked you all who is doing t-shirts. 69% of you are making t-shirts. I have a t-shirt from last year, Bailey Hooper's t-shirt. What's up, Bailey? One thing I enjoyed doing last year was getting people's t-shirts for athletes that I kind of connected with. It was a nice way to kind of be able to rep them throughout the year, in fact. But one of the downsides of a t-shirt is sometimes you have too many t-shirts, right? Like my t-shirt drawer is packed right now. So for some of you, I understand you're not selling t-shirts because you've done that. Maybe you've done that a couple of years now, but maybe for rookies, t-shirts are an awesome way to say, hey, this is my first year and I'm excited. Another thing, and we'll be talking about t-shirts more with Shay when she gets on. And then another thing that a lot of you said you're doing are fundraiser workouts. About 40% of you are doing a fundraiser workout, which is super cool. I did that my first year as well, and actually my second year as well. And it was a good way to have my community come together, and I turned it into an adaptive empathy WOD for them to learn a little bit about what it means to be an adaptive athlete like myself. The first year I did it kind of solo, just in my community. But the second year I partnered with Russell's organization, House of Champions Foundation. And so when Russell comes on in a little bit, we're going to get to talk to him about that as well. And then two other quick things that I was really interested in y'all's responses on. Individual donors. 43% of you said you have individual donors that are contributing to helping you get to the games. I think that's cool. That's an amazing number. I think that's strong. I think we could raise that number too. And that's what the conversation with Candice is going to be about, right? How do you cultivate those individual donors so that you're able to raise some more funds to help you get to the games and whatnot? And then the second category is corporate sponsors. And so that's another conversation we're going to have with Candice as well. Only 22% of you have corporate sponsors, and that's okay. You know, that's kind of a bigger ask, right? To partner with a business and say, okay, what are we doing to make this thing happen for you, the athlete? And then the final thing that I just want to bring up before we bring on our first guest is a question I asked, I believe it was late last night. How many of you have made a budget for your games expenses? This is huge. I don't know if you budget in your everyday life. I do. And I budgeted both years for the games, and I was surprised at just how much it costs to be a competitive CrossFit athlete. Lauren Saul was actually in my DM saying, man, we chose a really expensive hobby. That's true. We chose a pretty expensive hobby. So just real quick, my numbers for 2024. So this was the trip to San Antonio, and I'm US based, so I'm lucky. I mean, gosh, any of these athletes who are out of the US, I know Kyle Harper right now is watching on YouTube. He's in South Africa. Any country where your currency isn't quite as favorable against the dollar, like this is going to be a tough thing. The budget for getting to the games. But for me in 2024, I had $2,700 in donations, and my expenses were $3,300. So that $2,700 in donations, just full transparency, was $1,500 from an individual sponsor, technically corporate, but I didn't have a contract or anything like that with him. And then the rest were from t-shirt sales and my local affiliate doing a fundraiser WOD. But my expenses were more than that, so I had to cover the rest out of pocket. 2025 did not raise nearly as much from my community, just because of the way t-shirts broke and the fundraiser WOD broke. So I had about $2,000 in donations, and my expenses that year were actually $3,000. So Vegas was a little bit cheaper than San Antonio, but it was still money that had to come out of the pocket. So just some transparency there about what a budget looks like for the games. Flights for me were about about $1,200 each year. Registration was $400 to $500 each year. I think this year it actually went over 500 to 525. Lodging was around 1,000 to 1,200 each year, and I realized that the prices in San Jose right now are pretty crazy. And then the ticket for my wife to experience the games was $120 for all 3 days. So if you have a coach, your coach will get a free ticket, but anybody else who comes with you is going to have to buy a ticket as well. So a partner or anything like that. Okay, so that's a little bit of the stuff to kind of get us started, some numbers out there, some things to kind of start the conversation. And if you have questions throughout this, go ahead and post it in the chat. We're live on Instagram and we're live on YouTube as well. Oh, no, I didn't go live on Instagram. Dang it. Hold on one second. Now we're live on Instagram. Okay, everybody on Instagram, welcome to the show. Sorry about that. Your host forgot to go live on Instagram. Anyways, y'all can watch the beginning part of this on YouTube. And now we're going to start the conversation because I've got someone who I'm really excited for you all to meet. I got to have an extended conversation with her last night, and she is a phenomenal human being. Let's welcome Shay to the live show. Shay, how's it going?
I'm so good. How are you?
Good. Okay, I'm just going to jump right into it. We were talking last night, and you were telling me kind of you've been doing CrossFit for a while, but you kind of stumbled into this adaptive thing at
Yes.
Wadapalooza. What was your first experience with adaptive athletes like?
It's one of the most embarrassing moments I think I have to this day, but it's one of my most absolute favorite stories. So I've lived a pretty sheltered life, and I'm, not afraid to say that out loud, that I grew up in the same town and I didn't leave it, essentially.
Okay.
So I've been doing CrossFit for 10 years and didn't know anything about the adaptive community until I met a few people. So I met Sarah Perry at Wadapalooza a year and a half ago, and she recognized me at that point. My like content creator Instagram was kind of taking off, and I'm walking down Vendor Village and I see her, and she has her glasses on and she has her guiding stick and she's hanging on to her mom. And so all signs are indicating like that she is blind.
Yeah.
And so I'm walking, I'm walking by her, and right as I walk next to her, she grabs me and she says, "Oh my gosh, you're the unfiltered fit mom." And I'm looking at her and it's not registering to me. And so I'm like, how did you recognize me? What is happening? Oh
What's
my
the
gosh.
giveaway? What's the giveaway?
Yeah. I For 6 hours after that, I told my friends, like, "This girl has supersonic hearing. She is like a superhuman being, and she recognized my voice out of all of these people in a crowd." Common sense took way too long to kick in, that, like, there's many different people in between 100% blind and can see. And I just didn't know that that was a thing. So I
Yeah.
went back later and talked to her and learned her story, and she's like, "No, I can see, I can see you." And I was like, "Oh, great," because that makes me feel so much better.
She's like, She's like, I just listen to your content all the time and have your voice like
Oh,
memorized.
oh
And
my gosh.
oh
It
my
was
gosh.
so embarrassing because I told everyone about it. I was
Yeah.
like, this girl, Sarah Perry, is so cool. She still is so cool, but oh my gosh, I've never felt more naive in my entire life. And so at that point, I was like, I really want to learn more about, these people and what they
Hmm.
do. And it's been really cool ever since that moment to kind of dive into it a little bit more and more.
Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah.
you dove into it, you've started your clothing company, and then at some point this past year, you kind of went, man, there's a gap in here for adaptive athletes that I think I can really fill and help with through what I do with my t-shirt company.
Yes. So I started Unfiltered Clothing about 3 years ago, and I started it because I love this sport more than anything, and I love competing, and I wanted to travel and experience other places, and so I knew I was never going to be fit enough for a sponsor to be like, "Yeah, we'll pay you." I'm not on the podium ever. And so I was like, if I want to afford to do these things in life that I want to do, I'm going to have to sponsor myself. And so I was like, how do I do that? And that looked like, creating shirts and fundraising that way. And what started as like a handful of comp specific shirts, it turned into a clothing company of now I sell tons of different designs all year round. And one of my goals when I first started it was at some point, I want to be able to help other people get to the games.
Yeah.
That was the goal. And this year, I sat back and was like, well, I'm not in a position where I can full on sponsor someone. So, what can I do? And then this fundraiser t shirt came up, and I had no idea that it would mean so much to so many people. It's been awesome.
Mhm. Yeah, when we were talking last night, it occurred to me that every time that I was going to the games, my community came around me and just said, "Hey, we're gonna make you a t-shirt. Here's some
Yeah.
designs." And I realized
Yeah.
there's so many adaptive athletes for whom they don't have that community built in necessarily that's gonna just jump to to make them a t-shirt. And what you're offering is this ability for, would you say 18 to 20 athletes that have taken you up on
Yeah.
this,
Yeah.
to have a t-shirt that now they can just go right to their friends without having to talk to a local designer, try and figure out what a design looks like, what the cost for that is, right? You're
Yep.
helping them make that happen.
Yep, it's a huge win-win because I've been doing this for so long. I knew that buying shirts in bulk was going to be hard because you never knew if you were going to sell all of those to make your money back. And
Mhm.
so the way I do it is everything is made to order. So then that way I'm only buying in what's being sold, and then there's no overhead. So there's no way to have extra, and there's no way to sell out, and it's really cool.
Yeah, yeah. That's awesome. So how
Yeah.
long does it take you to make a shirt once somebody, like, puts the order in? What's that process look like?
So when somebody puts an order in, it takes about a week to get the design into where I can make it. And then I have all of the blank t-shirts at home in all the colors and sizes that I offer. And so then from the time it hits my door to make it, it's about 4 minutes a shirt.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So someone can
Yeah.
go to your website, look up an athlete, and get an athlete shirt today.
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
And the way I structured it was because everything is made to order, even though the designs are generally all the same, it's customizable to the athlete's name and their division, but the rest of the design is the same.
Mhm.
But the athletes got to pick out of the 8 colors that I offer in shirts, they got to pick what color of shirt they wanted to use,
Mm.
and they got to pick, like, the text color was unlimited. It could have been multicolored. There's a handful that's 3 or 4 different colors, and so even though on paper it's the same design, there's not one shirt that's the same, and that's
Yeah.
what's really cool.
What's your website address?
It's unfilteredclothingco.com, and then if you want to
Unfiltered
go,
clothing.
yep,
Yeah,
to
go ahead.
these specific fundraiser shirts, in the drop down menu, there's a tab that says Unfiltered Athletes, and you'll click that one, and then there's the games fundraiser t-shirt.
Okay, cool. So people can
Yeah.
go there to unfilteredclothing.co or unfilteredclothingco.com
Yes.
and
Yes.
and get t-shirts for the athletes who are raising funds to go to the games in San Jose this year.
Yep.
Awesome. Yeah, Kyle Harper just commented. He said your website looks so cool. So Kyle Harper is a South
Thank you.
African athlete. So you'll probably meet him at the games. And
Sweet. I'm
then
excited.
yeah. So another thing that you did is a fundraiser, sort of like
Yes.
not just a fundraiser with t-shirts, but like funds to your Venmo that are going to go
Yes.
to an athlete. So how
Yes.
much funds did you raise? I believe that closed this morning or last night, right?
It did. Yep. And so and this I did this because as I started taking on athletes for shirts, some athletes were absolutely killing it.
Hmm.
And you could see the community support in the stack of shirts. But then there were other athletes that didn't have as much. And so I was like, okay, what can I do to help these other athletes so it kind of balances out? And I created this giveaway where it was you just Venmo whatever they decided to Venmo was their entry. And then I put together a little unfiltered package of, 5 shirts and a sports bra and a hoodie and a bunch of stickers for people to win. And that ended up being just barely under $1,500.
That's
So
insane. So
yeah, it
people
was awesome.
donated $1,500 to help
Yes.
adaptive athletes get to the games. And as I understand it, you're doing a drawing for the person who's going to get this prize pack from you guys. And well, hold on,
Yes.
I don't want to give it all away yet. So you got a whole bin full of names there, right? So
I
tell me a little
did.
bit about your process and how you are true to making sure that this is randomized.
Yeah. I'm a little old school. And there's just under 1,500 shreds of paper in here. Like, for me, it just seems so, like, unethical to just be like, "Chat GPT, pick someone."
Yeah.
Like, that doesn't, like, sit well with me. So, it took me about half an hour to gut out all of these names for the people that donated. But yes, this is all of the names of all of the people who donated money for this giveaway, and it
Oh
was
my
really
gosh.
cool.
So if you
Yeah.
donated like $20, your name is in there 20 times.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
There was a
That's
few
crazy.
people that donated 100. So there's a couple $100 100 names in here for
Oh
a
my gosh.
handful of people. Yeah.
All right, so this drawing is for a collection of clothing that you provide as Unfiltered Clothing
Yep.
Co.
Yep.
This person's going to get that package, and then what's going to happen with that $1,200 or that $1,500?
So the $1,500 I'll divide amongst the adaptive athletes that I
Mhm.
currently have that are selling shirts.
That's awesome. That's
Yeah.
awesome. All right,
Yeah.
Shay. Well, I don't want to wait any longer. If you want to pull a name, and we can figure out who is getting this prize pack from you.
All right, here we go. Hopefully this could be embarrassing or maybe not. There's a lot of hard last names in here that I don't know if I know how to pronounce. Okay, ready?
Ready?
Oh no, there's 2 names.
Oh.
Okay, so this actually isn't a person. I got a Venmo from CrossFit Prescott Valley.
Okay.
So I don't know who that is or if they're going to share it amongst their members or whatever, but the winner was CrossFit Prescott Valley.
Is that with one T or two T's?
Um, oh shoot, I'll have to go back through the Venmo and look.
That's okay.
I wrote it with 2 T's.
That's great. Hey, CrossFit Prescott
I'll go
Valley.
I'll go double check.
Okay. We're going to get to
Yeah.
see how that community makes decisions because that community of CrossFit people is going to have to choose
They're going to have to
what
fight
size
for it.
sports bra y'all are getting. And
Yep.
people are fighting over that. So that's going to be fun.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
man.
awesome.
Shay, this has been so much fun just in the last 24 hours, getting to know you more, getting to hear your heart for this community. Thank you so much for what you're doing to help offset some of these costs that adaptive athletes face as they try and compete on a global stage. It's not cheap. And so you're
Yeah.
making a part in making that easier.
Yep, and it's been so fun, and I've been able to learn so many new things that I didn't know. I didn't even know half of these divisions existed or what those divisions entailed. And so it's been so fun for me to get to know these athletes on another level and kind of hear their stories and if all I have to do is donate a little bit of time to make a difference, like, I wanna do it, and I'm super excited. So, yes, thank you so much for having me on too and being able to share that. I am able to take on a handful more athletes,
Okay.
I'm going to be running this t-shirt fundraiser clear until the games are over. Because I feel like a lot of people wait until the last minute to buy. They won't necessarily get their shirts in time if they wait that long. The turnaround time is about 10 to 14 days when
Okay.
someone places an order. But I want to be able to support those athletes clear until the end. So if you're an adaptive athlete and you're seeing this and you're looking for a way to fundraise, I do have a couple more spots open that I could take on a couple more people if that's something that you're interested in doing.
I love that. I think that's great. So
Yeah.
if anybody's listening to this and you still need t-shirts and need to work that out, reach out to Shay at Unfiltered Clothing Co. and she can get you figured out on that. And like she said, a 2-week lead time. So that would be games are like 7 weeks away. So probably 5 weeks
Yep.
from now, by like July 4th, you should probably be getting your t-shirt orders in.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. Awesome. Shay, anything else you want to share with the community?
No, just that you guys are awesome and keep kicking ass because what you're doing is amazing and I'm here for it.
Awesome. And where can people find you on Instagram?
So my main page is the Unfiltered Fit Mom, where I post all of my relatable and funny memes. But then the clothing page is just Unfiltered Clothing Co. as well.
All right. Kyle
Yeah.
Harper has a quick question. Can you do t-shirts for athletes outside the US?
Yes, it's a little different.
Okay.
So instead of, I would still have their shirt on the website, but the shipping is outrageous.
Yeah.
So what I do for athletes outside of the US is I still create you a mock-up of your shirt, but then I have you go and take orders and we do it in like a bulk order style instead. So then that way you're providing me with everybody from your gym that wants to buy one, and then I just create an invoice outside of that. I make all the shirts, ship them all at once,
Mhm.
and then do it that way. So it's a little bit different. Feel free to message me and we can kind of walk through that. But that's what I'm currently doing for athletes outside of the US.
Awesome. I love that. Well,
Yeah.
thanks so much, Shay.
Yeah.
Thanks for being on the show. And
Yeah.
thanks for helping the community.
Yeah.
I'll
You're
see you
welcome
in
anytime.
San Jose.
Yes. I will see you there. Thank you.
All right. Bye. All right, guys. So that was Shay from Unfiltered Clothing Co. In a moment, we've got Russell Allmandinger from the House of Champions Foundation joining us. We've got Brett Palzer in the chat. Just so much energy he's bringing there. I wish I could have brought this up when Shay was saying it, but come on down. You're the next contestant on, you get a free clothing package. And then Brett, I think you're trying to help me pronounce CrossFit Prescott. Or Presskit. I don't know. I feel like I'm in that Key and Peele skit. Ron. I was just watching that today. I can watch that so many times. It's so good. So hey, thanks everybody for who's watching, including on Instagram where we got Kieran watching, we've got Jess watching. Let's see, Wheels in Motion Nonprofit watching, David Piper's watching. I forgot to go live on Instagram at the front end. So real quick, I'm going to tell you guys a couple of things that you all responded to on Instagram. Just going to pop through these real quick. 69% of you said that you do have a t-shirt that you are selling. So that's good to know. I also mentioned that I like to buy athletes t-shirts. This is Bailey Hooper's from last year. I'm not buying a bunch of t-shirts this year because I'm not competing. But if you have some extra money lying around, you want to support an athlete that you care about, buy one of their t-shirts. It's a nice keepsake to have too. When you're working out at the gym, to wear your athlete's clothing and represent your friend at the gym. Another bunch of you, 39%, said that you're running a fundraiser WOD. So momentarily, we'll talk to Russell about what goes into all that. And then when we get to talk to Candice, these two stats are going to be really interesting. 43% of you said you have individual donors who are supporting you. And then 22% of you said you have corporate sponsors. And one of you actually sent me a really cool brochure that you've made. And I'm looking forward to sharing that in my conversation with Candice as well. But we've got another guest to join us. We've got Russell Allmandinger all the way from Colorado. Actually, Shay was from Colorado too. Colorado is representing today. And Russ, I'm going to bring on here. Here we go. Russell Allmandinger, how's it going, man?
Good, Matt. How are you doing?
I'm doing great.
Can
It
you
looks
hear me
beautiful where
okay?
you are. I can hear you great.
Okay, awesome. Yes, sir.
Yeah, you sound wonderful. It looks beautiful where you're at.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It is.
All right. So you run the House of Champions Foundation. Tell me a little bit about House of Champions and how that got started.
Yes, sir. So then House of Champion Foundation is a charity that I helped found it. It's like, my brainchild or whatnot, but, we do have a board of directors now and members that help, run that thing properly, because sometimes I can not be so good. Uh, but whenever we started this, it was just, I was born with disabilities. I've gone through the medical system. I've had a lot of surgeries, and I wanted to start providing people like me or folks like that, other alternatives to maybe feel better with their disabilities. So then
Mm-hmm.
House of Champions started, and at first, I really didn't have a lane of the route that we wanted to go, and how we were going to help people. I just wanted to help everybody in all ways. But House of Champion now pays for disabled folks, gym memberships. We help sponsor some athletes to get to the adaptive games. We run adaptive classes and things like that.
Yeah. Yeah. I saw that you do scholarships for people to be able to get gym memberships and, like you said, getting to the games. And that's where that adaptive WOD piece comes in, right? So
Yes,
people
sir.
may have seen on your Instagram, which, by the way, what is your Instagram handle real quick? I'm going to add it to your lower here.
I'm not really good at any of those things, Matt.
That's okay.
I think it's just Russell Allmandinger.
Okay. Got it.
Or yeah.
Guys, if I'm wrong on this, you can set me straight and I will correct it, but I want people to be able to find you. There you go. So, so what is this adaptive WOD that people are seeing on Instagram? How does that work? How can people participate with it?
Yes, sir. So then this is our third year of running it. The prior 2 years that we ran it, it was if you had an adaptive athlete at your gym that qualified for the games, you could participate in this fundraiser, and all that money would go to that athlete. This year we kind of shifted, and I was hoping that the whole community as one could just kind of like help each other in general. So then the
Mhm.
adaptive law this year was geared towards trying to raise as much money to pay for as many people's registration fees to the games. So then how all that goes down, you can find it on our Instagram, and you can find it on our website. Our website is hocfoundation.org. And then there's a link in there that takes you to the adaptive WOD. But your gym can just register on that link, and then we will reach out to you guys with emails on how to run that thing smoothly. We've come up with a workout and how to do all of that. So then we thought it was a good idea to create an adaptive style workout. So then the members that go to our gyms that are able-bodied can, experience what's that's like.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember when we did it last year, it was really fun. The people in my community were like, really? We're doing this? You want me doing blind box or my eyes closed doing box step ups? And they're like,
Yes,
yeah, if
sir.
you want to do a box jump, you can try that too. And it was fun because a couple of people who are just friends of mine who don't CrossFit came to this to support me, and they were like, this is hard. And I'm like, yeah, it is hard. And then David Kellum, a seated athlete, seated one, came as well and got to show like multi ropes, right? For the jumping bit that neuros would do, where you spin around on a bat, you do line hops. He was doing multi ropes and just got to show that to people. And it was awesome for people to get to see how we all in this adaptive community adapt our fitness.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. So if I'm not adaptive though, if I'm able bodied, can I still participate in adaptive WOD?
Yes, sir. So then, right now that thing is still going. Gyms can still participate and get registered. We'll still, everything is still going like that. So then, if you have a gym and you just want to participate, and there's no requirements in raising money or anything like that, our main goal is just to show other people what it's like to have a disability and what we go through. And it also shows those members as well, like if they have an injury, or if they were to ever, have an incident in their life where they became disabled, that life isn't over.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so we're just trying to like rally everybody to kind of like see these things. This year, I don't do a very good job on like marketing people or social media. I'm always just busy doing work.
Yeah.
So then, we could do a better job on that end. I hope that starts to happen.
Yeah, definitely. I'm gonna try and pull up here real quick in my screen your adaptive WOD real quick. I'm gonna pull that up, that web page, adaptivewod.org. Yeah, here we go, and then the workout. So if I go here and share my screen real quick, you might not be able to see it if you're on your phone, and that's okay. I'm not gonna be able to do it. That's okay, Matthew. Test that beforehand.
That's
Well,
all right.
the adaptive WOD is a 15-minute AMRAP with 10 eye closed box step ups. So to for the vision, for like people to experience a vision division,
Yes, sir.
5 single leg squats with a med ball, so doing like a lower impairment, and then 10 seated med ball slams, 5 one-arm burpees. That smoked so many people at my gym. They were like, "What are we? That is hard." And then the bat spins with 20 line hops for that neurological condition where you're kind of shaky on your legs and whatnot. That was
Yes, sir.
also definitely interesting for people at my gym.
Yes, sir. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It was a lot of fun every time that we've done it. Every time that we do that workout with the community, we like to tell them that, we're not looking for anybody to join our, adaptive community. We're doing these workouts. We try to make sure that people are shifting the sides of their bodies, as they're going through the rounds or whatnot, so that they're
Hmm.
still experiencing it, but getting a good full body workout. They're not, leaving that day with just a good right arm pump.
Yep. Yep. So one of our friends of the pod and friends of the community, Brett Pulzer, he's in seated two. He's actually in your division, Russell.
Yes, sir.
um, he is offering that if you have a fundraiser WOD or a workout that you're doing to support your trip to the games, he'll just do it and post it on Instagram and raise awareness about it with his platform as well. So, Brett, you've got the challenge here, adaptivewod.org, and you can get that workout as well and do it. You may have to modify it a little bit for you. I don't see you spinning around and doing line hops, Brett. Maybe you can find something else for that. But you're creative. You can do something for that, Brett.
Yeah, thank you, Brett.
Yeah, exactly. Well, Russell, what are you looking forward to this year at the games?
I just look forward to the whole environment. You know what I mean? I like to work hard. I like to compete. I don't care too much about winning anything. I've been like this my whole life, and I never really have found a community like ours. I didn't know really existed. So then, I look forward to just seeing everybody. I look forward to hearing people's stories and what they were going through, that year, or what they had to do in order to get there this year. You know what I mean? So
Hmm.
that's what I look forward to, just hanging out with everybody.
Awesome, dude. Awesome. So people can find you at Russell Allmandinger, and it's the House of
Hopefully.
Champions Foundation and the
Yes, sir.
Adaptive WOD. Do you have a goal for the amount of funds you want to raise this year, or how many people you want to get involved?
Uh, I mean, when I first start out on these things, I set the bar really high. I say, how many athletes are going to go to the games and what does that cost,
Hmm.
but we're nowhere around that. House of Champions is still new. I think people are still learning about us. We're doing really good here in Durango, Colorado. We have an adaptive class that we've had going for over a year. We started a kids adaptive class. So then we're just hoping that maybe next year we can, do this adaptive WOD thing better, to where we can support more people,
Hmm.
but next year maybe it could be the same goal. 150 grand, pay for everybody's registration fees.
Come on now. Come on. That'd be amazing. That'd be
Yes, sir.
amazing. How many gyms did you have participate last year? Sorry if you already said that.
Last year it was around, I think like 12 to 15.
Yeah. Yeah. I think we could
Uh,
definitely get it up to 20 to 25 this year. If gyms
that
just
would,
know about it and know that you can, it's on the website, you do the workout, you explain kind of what, if you're an adaptive athlete, you just go into a gym and explain your story, you know,
yes, sir.
and then invite
So
these people to do an empathy workout with you.
yes, sir. So then House of Champion as well is all volunteer based.
Hmm.
Everybody that participates with us is all volunteer. So then if anybody sees things that we're not doing correctly or that we could do better, to, we're always looking for help.
Awesome. Well, Russ, thanks so much for everything that you do for the community. Your energy, I met you. I definitely saw you at the 23 games, but I feel like the first time I kind of met you face to face was at Sea Dog, where we're just out there in the heat in Jupiter, Florida, and we got to talk a little bit. And I'm just really glad you're a part of the community and everything that you do for people.
Thank you very much, man. I feel the same way about you. I think you're doing a great job.
Thank you, Russ. I will see you in San Jose, man.
Awesome, buddy. Look forward to it.
All right. See you, man.
Bye-bye.
All right, guys, that was Russell Allmandinger. He runs the House of Champions Foundation. You can find him on Instagram, and here is his website. Again, if you want to go to his website, check out his organization, find out more about the adaptive WOD. Again, the goal with that would be that you get your community together and you say, hey, we're going to charge $20 at the door, or whatever that conversion rate is for you in your country. And that money comes into a pool, and it goes to you to help you get to the games. The way you can run it through HOCF is they will basically be a ticketing portal for you where they don't take anything off the top. They just help you run the ticketing of, okay, how many people signed up? Okay, it was $30 a ticket, and boom, you get this amount of money now from HOCF into your pockets to help you fundraise towards the games. I also know that other people are doing other creative things. These are all just suggestions of different ways that you can raise those funds to kind of get to that budget that you are looking for to make it to the games and to have a good experience. I know some people do like beer miles, which sound like a ton of fun, sort of. I guess you run and drink beer. Actually, that doesn't sound fun. That sounds like I would get sick afterwards. So forget I said that. Don't do a beer mile. That's going to get you in trouble. Oh, we got Cowboy Dave watching us. If you guys haven't seen the latest Wheel Wad story, by the way, they featured Cowboy Dave and his role in the organization. He is helping them out as CFO and head of athlete control this year and doing some amazing stuff. He and I got to hang out at Sea Dog Summer Showdown. And he's a good dude. Real good dude. Loves a good voice memo. We've also got Tori watching. Tori is going to be on an upcoming episode of the podcast. So actually for the 7 weeks leading up to the games, my podcast episodes that I drop on Monday or Tuesdays are all going to feature rookies this year. I'm really excited to meet some of these new rookies who are coming in for the first time this year, hear what they're excited about, introduce them to the community. Athletes like Mackenzie, Christy, Tori, Emma, and then I've got a few other ones that I haven't formally reached out to yet, so I'm not going to throw those names out there yet. But we're going to have some cool athlete interviews coming up as we get ready to go into the games. Okay, so the last person who's coming on is Candice Arnone. She is an adaptive athlete herself. She was born with cerebral palsy, just like yours truly. And she also has a career in fundraising and grant writing for large organizations. And she was on episode 1 of this latest season of the podcast talking about fundraising. She has this great acronym that can help you think about what it means to raise funds. And as we talk about individual donors and corporate donors, Candice is going to help us think about what does it look like to make those connections and raise those sorts of relationships. So welcome to the show, Candice.
Hi.
Candice.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are.
Good morning. Are you a Knicks fan? Are you excited? I know you live in New
Listen,
York.
I'm a Knicks fan right now. That's what's going on. I'm being a military brat. Like, I just embrace the community. This is why I'm a CrossFitter. Like, I just drink the Kool-Aid. So like everybody's like, oh my gosh, the Knicks. Like, I'm like, oh, okay, this is what's happening right now. Then I'm a Knicks fan. So yeah, go Knicks.
Have you seen that Elmo posted like, oh, I just hope both teams win? And people were like, my man, you're from New York.
Go Sports.
Do you know where Sesame Street is? It's in Queens, man.
Yeah.
Okay, so Candice, we're not on here to talk about basketball or our favorite Muppet. We're on here to talk about fundraising. So Candice, tell us a little bit about kind of what you do in your line of work, as much as you can share.
Sure.
And then just hop right into, man, if you were to give some advice to people who are trying to raise funds from individuals and corporations this year, what would your advice be to them?
Sure. So my background is that I'm a grant maker. I have a nonprofit management degree. I've been in the nonprofit sector for grant management for about 15 years. And I work for a large nonprofit in the corporate and foundations division. And so I have a lot of experience of like doing that tough ask. And we talked about that in the podcast, so I won't go into too much, but I think what's overwhelming for even myself, and I shared with you my GoFundMe from a couple of years ago of like, okay, how do I design something to ask people for money? Because all the resources, so here's the thing, all the resources available, t-shirts, all that stuff, like some people, when you talk to them, they're like, I just want to have a resource to get you to go. But I need to know how those funds are going to be applied. And I think the thing that you've been highlighting that's really important that I myself even struggle with to this day is like my budget, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you really want to make sure to be very concise and clear and communicate where you need the funds to go. If it's useful to do a t-shirt, that's wonderful, and bring all your proceeds there. But if it's more useful to like get money for shoes or get money for equipment or get money for a flight, you might want to try other resources to get that quick cash that you're going to need in about 6 weeks or 10 weeks or whenever the games is. So it's you want to do all avenues are great. Like you could do a t-shirt component, you could do a fundraiser component, you can do a GoFundMe. And in the GoFundMe that I shared that maybe you'll share later is like, I have a tiered, what I call tier support. So I had a colleague of mine, a friend of mine, who was like, listen, I want to help out. And so I'll create these little pieces of jewelry that have barbell on it, and that'll be proceeds as well. And that was one way. I think the hard part when you're accepting help is you want to make sure that you're not, how do I say this? Like, you want to have low-hanging fruit for whatever you're raising funds. So you don't want to have like a gala event for your CrossFit competition because a lot of money will go into the food and then you're not getting the money for the proceeds because you're only getting like $100 maybe. I'm being very dramatic right here, but you have to think about like what's your best avenue, and that's going to be, you have to determine that. And our international colleagues are going to have more complexity with currency conversion. And it, I think that the hard thing for them is like coming, I know because I do grant making in South Africa, like flying to the United States is going to be a lot more expensive. It's going to be like $5,000 versus like us, it might be $1,000. So you just want to really think about your avenues. So let's switch. So you got your budget. And you're like, oh my gosh, I can't raise all these funds myself. I really need to look into corporate sponsorship. So how do we look at corporate sponsorship? What you could start doing is talking to your gym, see if your gym can help corporate sponsor you because, hey, their image is in it anyway. Like, why not, if they're getting free publicity, why not get some investment out of the deal? Or you could look at maybe your affliction. If your affliction is like CP, if there's like the CP Foundation or a local chapter that might be willing to sponsor you. Or I know families in my own gym who have children who have CP. Maybe they feel so inclined to pass me enough for my flight, things like that. So I don't want to talk too much, but like you just want to, it is overwhelming to try to fundraise, but you really just like how you budget for the month, right? You want to say, I exactly want certain things to be covered because it can be, you want to focus on your competition, not that you have to eat food or get gas or anything like that, or where to sleep.
Yeah. Right. And there are people who I know this in church world that will say like, I don't want to just give to the operating expense. I want to give to something that's going to make a difference. And so sometimes you can say, actually, the thing that would make the most difference is flights aren't cheap. And like, if you could give me $500, that would offset my flight, so much. And you'll get a few people to do that. You, in our interview, you gave this acronym LIA. That I think was really helpful for thinking about how you connect with people to then kind of get them to sponsor or to get them to consider sponsoring you.
Right. So just as a reminder, so LIA is link, interest, and ability. Link is connecting. Like I'm connected. I say to you, Matt, I go, hey, we both have CP. Like, hey, we're CP buddies. Like that's the link. That's the attachment. Or maybe we went to we're the same church, or maybe we went to college together, or we go to the gym together. There's some sort of tangible link. And we're human beings. There's always a link. There's always a link to something like Star Trek or I know you like, you're a big race guy. Like even if I'm not a big race guy, like, what is it? Formula One or something,
NASCAR.
NASCAR. Right.
Yeah.
So like you kind of connect that way or say, oh, my husband's into that, and then Matt's like, cool. Candice actually pays attention to what I'm saying and my interests. And so I've linked and then I've created interest and I say, you know what, man, I know you love competition. You love NASCAR. You know how expensive it is to, put on the tires of the car and everything. Well, I'm doing this competition for CrossFit. CrossFit is my shoes. They wear and tear and they're really expensive. And it's going to be like $150. Would you mind, replacing my tires, if you will? And then we both laugh and then you give me $150,
Right.
So like it's low hanging fruit. Like if you can find a way to get the immediate return on investment through cash or through like a Venmo or anything like that was mentioned before, like it's a lot easier. The thing that you have to be conscious of is when people, and I don't think in our community this is going to happen, but you want to record what you're taking in just for your own budget and everything, and people will have questions like they may not want to do GoFundMe, they might want to do a Venmo, they might want to do different ways. So you just have to be thoughtful about that. And then, of course, if you're on SSI or SSID, you have to be thoughtful about that. So you just got to think about, usually there's no issue, but you just want to keep everything written down so that you're transparent.
Right. That makes sense. I mean, I remember when I was taking cash donations from my affiliate, I was having my coach kind of help me keep track of all this, just like you would at like a baby shower or like a wedding shower or something like that, where you're like, okay, I want to send thank you notes and I want to really make sure that like, I know, just like I was saying at the top of the show, my budget in 24 was, my expenses ended up being $3,300, and so I knew that as my budget going into 2025. Okay, that's what it's going to be. So then when I raised $2,700 in 2024, I was able to know that like, okay, that's not bad. I had to do $600 out of pocket, but that's sometimes what it costs to go and do this expensive hobby that we have. And then, to know, okay, what can I bring to the table? The goal for some of us isn't to just cover everything. It might be to cover a certain percentage of it as well. But to know what your budget is, then you know what you have to raise. So.
Yeah. And then I know you alluded to it earlier, but I think other factors too is like, if you have a coach coming with you, when I went to the Wheelwug Games in 2022, I covered all my coach's expenses. So you have to, if you are having someone who's not like your significant other, if you will, then he took off time. He's the owner of the gym that I work out at. And so I needed to respect his time and worth.
Whoop, I didn't mean to do that. Sorry.
You're fine.
Go ahead.
That's it.
Okay. No, I'm so sorry. So your coach, you had to respect his time.
His time and his effort. I mean, he was very happy to go. He's never seen anything like that when it was the Wheelwug Games. So I think it was truly a wonderful thing. But I paid for his flight, his hotel, out of the proceeds that I got. Yeah.
Yeah. So I went and found your GoFundMe. If you guys want to Google it, by the way, you can Google GoFundMe Candice Arnone 2022, and you can see what Candice is talking about. In the GoFundMe description, she laid out her budget and she laid out the different tiers of giving, goodness, church world language, of donations that people can do. This is so transferable though, guys. I talked about it in the podcast episode with Candice, maybe on the record, maybe off the record, but I went to seminary. I had to take classes on nonprofit management, what it means to ask people for funds to run a local church. I don't do that now, but I work in a local church. And so I know what those conversations look like. And they are saying, what is the need? And then find the person who is interested in that need and make the ask, right? So who's that person in your community who might be connected intimately with your story? And then you can make the connection there. I want to share something that an athlete sent me. I don't know if she's watching. Her name's Tina. I might be mispronouncing that. She is based out of Finland.
Great.
So this brochure is written in Finnish. She did send me a little bit of a translation of it. But that's a brochure that she gives to people who want to sponsor her. And basically this first page that you're looking at right now tells her story. That, she had a spinal cord injury, she's a neuro minor, what that means, what that costs when it comes to doing trips and that kind of thing and competing. But then on the second page, she offers a way to donate. And so I actually translated that part. I didn't translate it, but she translated it for me. And so that part right there says it's a €250 or €250 sponsorship package, which includes social media visibility. So all sponsors are mentioned in Tina's thank you post on her athlete account with nearly 900 followers. So she notes how many followers she has. Again, Tina told me I could share all this, so I'm not sharing any of this out of turn. Then she also invites these people to an exclusive event where after the competition, an event's going to be arranged for the sponsors where Tina and her coach share their experience from the World Championship journey and lead a light team building exercise for the community. And I was like, that's brilliant. In fact, when I was getting ready to do the trip in 24, I think, I was talking with a friend who literally ran for Senate in a state. And I go, how'd you raise funds for that? Like, that's absurd. And he said, oh man, we asked people. And then afterwards, we always had a get together with people, no matter what happened with the campaign, to thank them, to tell them that their donation mattered so that in the future they would want to give again.
That's great advice too. Yeah, because it's hard to forget when I am actively fundraising, whether in my career or for myself, I always write thank you every day. I like in the morning or at night, like I find a block of time where I'm constant, because the thing is like, it's so hard, like the wedding thing, you know what I mean? I still have my wedding list of gifts from over a decade, and my family makes fun of me, but you have to say thank you, because if you don't, people are less likely to give in the future, because you're losing the connection that we're talking about. It's like, if I don't say thank you to you, and we had this cool conversation about NASCAR, and you gave me $150, and then I never talked to you again about the experience or how grateful I am, for a minute, you're going to be like, man, well, Candice, she didn't really give me, she didn't say, like, not that you're asking, but you're that connection has disappeared. It's gone to the wayside. And so you just want to be conscious of that. I really like this example, by the way. We can go back to it, but
yeah, of course.
It's an elevator pitch, which is so cool, because you want to, when you're doing your GoFundMe or a presentation like this, you want to keep it really concise and simple. And this is what this athlete has done. You want to think about, they call it an elevator pitch. It's like, we talked about it in the podcast that we did, but you have 1 minute or 30 seconds to make a connection with someone and say, this is, exactly what I want to do. This is why, and this is how you can help me because of X, Y, and Z, what we have in common. So if you can figure out how to drill that down for yourself, you'll be not, the most successful, but you'll be surprised at how people want to give.
Yeah, I agree. The elevator pitches are huge. And I think that's one thing I can offer to the community is, if you've ever been on my podcast, like you've had the opportunity to basically tell your story and distill it into something that matters, right? Like, I think that's why I asked people at the end, like, what would you go back and tell your younger self? Because I think that's the elevator pitch in some ways, right? If you want to connect with someone where you've been to where you are, that is the story to kind of get you to make that connection in some ways. So thank you, Tina, for sharing that with us, because this has been really fruitful to the conversation. And then she told me that she actually got such a good response to that one that this year she added a $500 tier or a €500 tier. Wonderful. And that one is going gangbusters.
That's a lot of money too. That's like $1,000 for our American friends.
Yeah. In euros? Oh, dang.
Yeah, I think so.
Wow, that's crazy. So yeah, she just says, you get enhanced social media visibility. You get 3 to 5 media posts during the partnership period. Company logo and mention included in post. 1 collaborative post done tailored to the company's preferences. And then the exclusive partner event afterwards, which I realize that might sound like a lot. So let me paint a picture for you guys real quick about what I did for my community. Both times, after 24 and 25. When I came back from 24, I took a couple of days off at the gym, but then like within 3 days after that competition, I made myself available in the gym. And I asked the coaches if before the whiteboard brief for every class, I could just say thank you, and just in 15 seconds, tell them what a difference their donation made to my experience and what I learned from the experience of going to San Antonio. And then in Vegas, when I actually had like hardware to bring back with me, it was really cool. And everybody was so proud to be a part of this community that like this was our hardware,
Right. Yeah.
And it created this connection of like, this is us doing this thing together. So I think, I know so many adaptive athletes train in an affiliate, but sort of train by themselves and don't get that connection with the community. I would encourage you in these next 7 weeks, do little things to build that connection and then see if you can make some asks for some funds to help you on this trip. Because I think people want to partner with you.
Yeah, and if you aren't in, and look, I get it, CrossFit's expensive. Okay, I live in New York City. I do CrossFit in New York City. It's very expensive. If you're not able to be in an affiliate right now for whatever reason, now is the time to be like, listen, hey, like I'm gearing up for the games. I do CrossFit out of my garage. Would you mind if you want to do the buy-in with me and connect, because I would love to put your affiliate as my shirt for a short sponsorship, something like that. Or if you're looking for, I know people are probably looking for coaches because they made it, and so they're trying to do that. You can work with that coach. Maybe that coach is far away. Maybe that's overseas, and see if their gym is willing to do a buy-in as well. You won't know until you ask. That's the hardest part.
It is. And then once you do it a couple of times, it becomes way less scary.
Oh yeah. I mean, I don't mean to toot my own horn.
No, please do it. This is going to blow people's minds, I think.
Okay. So when I was 8 years old, I was in Girl Scouts, and we had to sell Girl Scout cookies and calendars. And I was so good at selling, right? With my little leg brace and my little crooked teeth and my glasses. I was able to convince this lady to buy a calendar that was out of date for the year prior. So like somehow I convinced this lady that it was for the benefit of the Girl Scouts to still buy the calendar, even though for that year it was out of date. In 7 years it'd be fine, but for that year,
right,
it was out of date. So yeah, so like you will. Most people, when you do the connection and things like that, and you're like, oh, I feel so uncomfortable, you will be surprised at how people want to help you.
Mm-hmm.
You just got to
That's true.
Step out of I'm an introvert. I sound like I'm not an introvert. I am a true introvert, but life is much more fulfilling connecting with people than being alone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's good. Candice, I got one more example I just want to share with you.
Sure.
That I think is replicable by all of our athletes. And that's this post by Victor Ossoff.
Yes, I saw it.
It was a great story. It was just help Victor win. And it had his QR code. So that could be a poster that you could put up in a gym. You can also, by the way, you can tell people if you screenshot something on an iPhone, that QR code can become pressable and it will take you to the link as well. But
Amazing.
He also linked his Venmo there. So it's just, again, a quick way. You don't want to, Candice, you talked about this on the podcast as well. You don't want to inundate people so much that you become white noise. But that's a pretty compelling image. And I'm sure through some of the media that we've gotten, unless you're a rookie, you probably have an image that would help tell your story a little bit of you succeeding on the competition floor. Use that and then connect it with your Venmo for people to be able to give.
Absolutely. It's such a powerful image too. Like it just helped Victor win. Like simple, easy. He's lifting that bar. He's, completely ripped, of course. And like, he's just, and it says, scan the code and support. So I was like, oh my gosh, Victor is my buddy. He looks great. He's going to do an awesome job. And all I have to do now is click Venmo and I'm done. It's so easy. It's like a great example again of an elevator pitch. I'm not thinking about it too hard.
Yeah, right. Exactly. All right. Well, Candice, thanks so much for being our local expert on fundraising and helping to encourage our community to just go out and ask, right? The first time is going to feel weird. The second time is going to feel a little less weird, but by the third or fourth time, it's going to feel natural.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Good luck, everybody.
Thanks, Candice. Thanks for being on the show.
Bye.
All right, guys. So that is a wrap on kind of the guests I wanted to have on today to talk about fundraising. So we had Shay from Unfiltered Clothing, who's still running an opportunity for you to raise funds for your trip by getting a t-shirt. By getting a t-shirt made, then people can buy their t-shirts through Unfiltered Clothing Co. That may be the right thing for you. Also, if you are with CrossFit Prescott Valley, reach out to Shay because you won some clothing. And then the second guest was Russell Allmandinger from the House of Champions Foundation. And so you can find out more about them and the adaptive WOD. And that could be a way to, without any overhead, invite people in for a workout. They pay their ticket through House of Champions. You get all that money to go towards you at the competition. And then the final pitch was from Candice, or the final guest was Candice for those last 20 minutes, really talking about the value of asking individuals, connecting your story with someone else's desire to give and support your story, and then closing that all in a ask and hopefully some funds, and then a big thank you at the end. I want to thank Tina Murdoch for sharing her brochure that helped this go a lot further and really gave a really concrete example of what's possible. Y'all, you got 7 weeks, I think maybe 8 weeks until the games. I think 7 though, because I've got 7 episodes to put out until the games. So now's the time to start fundraising, start talking to people, start getting your story out there. If you've been on the podcast, you've got a version of your story. Go back and listen to that conversation that we had, because I guarantee you, you told your story in that podcast. I've got 7 rookies that are going to be coming on the podcast in the next 7 weeks. I look forward to highlighting those stories. I'll be doing some more live shows as well along the way, especially as more content gets released around the games, like workouts or things we can expect related to the games. If you guys have any topics you want to make sure that we talk about or cover in a live show, DM me. My handle is right down there below on the Instagram page. Like the podcast, listen to the episodes, subscribe, follow me on Instagram, follow me on YouTube. You know all the things. Let's see if I got anything else I want to make sure I say. No, thanks so much to Candice, to Shay, and to Russ for taking their time to come on today. And thank you to you for listening and for spreading this information, for being a part of this community. I'm Matt Hotho, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.